JD from YFL Media. Third attempt at doing this. I've just tried recording this on a Nikon D5500, and they're not very good at doing video, I'm afraid. Nikon's, it's great still photography on them, but videos, the autofocus was just so far, it was unbelievable. That's the reason I bought myself a Canon XF200. Got it about 18 months ago. This really is just a brief overview of the camera, and the reason I'm doing it is because there aren't that many reviews out there on this particular camera. Canon brought out the XF100, the XF200, well, the XF300, and then they brought the XF200 out. And the 200 comprised really sort of they claim to be the best qualities of both the 100 and the 300. The downside is it only has a 1/3 inch single sensor. The XF300 had 3 sensors, which was red, blue and green, so its low light capability was better. Image quality was slightly better. The XF100 was no bigger really than the HF G30 and G40, which I did have a G30. But I decided the AVC HD format on that wasn't that great. The quality wasn't brilliant, and the low light performance wasn't great either. The XF200's low light capability is a little bit better, certainly better than the XF100. It also has, like the XF100, infrared capability. You've got a switch there. Pardon me, I'm just getting over a bad throat. For infrared, and it is much more effective than the 100 ever was. One of the things I liked about this camera, and I haven't seen it on any other, was this adjustable grip. And now, generally when you're filming, you've got your camera up like this, and this is pretty much fixed on just about every camera I've ever seen. With this one, you can adjust it, and I like that because that's a much more comfortable position for me. You can actually rotate it through 120 degrees. So if you're shooting up, you know, don't know why you would be, but if you are, you can do that. And it click stops all the way around. So really nice feature, Canon, well done. The rocker arm, again, is standard position, but there's also one on the top. Now, the speed this travels can be set within the menu. For the top one, there's a little switch. I'm looking at the screen, which is why I'm looking at the camera, but there is a little switch on the side here which you can adjust the speed at which this one operates. So you can have one for high speed and one for low. You've got your recording button on the back, nice red button there. You've got one on the top which can be locked down so you don't accidentally press it, and you've also got one in the bottom corner here. So 3 options there. Let's work my way around the camera. It's probably the best way to do this. Articulated viewfinder, electronic viewfinder, 1.2 million pixels, very, very nice. And the screen is also 1.2 million OLED. On the back, you've got RJ45, file transfer. You can also do it wirelessly, but it's a bit of a pain to set up. Mains in, HDMI out, AV out, and also headphone socket. And what I would recommend with any camera, not just this one, but when you're recording, monitor your sound. Plug your earbuds in. You don't need a massive great pair of headphones, just a pair of earbuds so you can hear what's going on, because what you don't want is to get back and find your sounds clipped and it's all horrible and nasty. So yeah, do just plug them in, have a listen, get your levels set right. Also, while we're around the back, pretty much standard Canon battery. Now this battery will fit the XF100, the XF200, the XF300, and I believe it also fits the XF400. I might be wrong, could stand to be corrected on that. With the HFG series of cameras, they were coded to the camera, so you couldn't take the battery from the HFG10, which I also had, and put it in the 30 or vice versa, because they wouldn't work. Going back to the audio side of things, built-in microphones, they're not that great. The XF100 had really good microphones. This and the 300, not particularly good. Certain amount of hiss, and it will pick up the zoom noise as well when you're using your rocker buttons. You've got XLR inputs, 1 and 2, 3.5mm jack input. All your controls for that are on the side. It will supply phantom power, and you've got volume controls on the top for your mic inputs. It's 4-channel recording, so you can do your 2 XLRs and your 3.5mm, or you can do your twin XLRs and your twin built in. It's entirely up to you how you do it. There is a full-blown tutorial on Canon USA's YouTube channel, and I'll post a link below. They go into much more detail than I'm going to go into here, and quite frankly they probably do a better job of it than me. I'm just giving you an overview of the camera. On the top you've got a cold shoe. You've also got a 1/4 inch socket here. I put another cold shoe on because it's just handy for accessories. There are vents on this camera. There's one on the side and you've got one underneath. You can just about see that. There is a built-in fan. You can turn that off, but if it gets hot it will kick in. Having said that, I've never heard any noise from it, so nothing to worry about there. It does have powered image stabilization. You've got a button down there for that. You've got a menu button because the OLED screen is not touchscreen. That's not to everyone's liking. I appreciate some people do like touchscreens, some people don't. So your navigation via the menu button, and you've got a tiny little finger joystick there. Turn that on. Let's just wait for this to warm up. There we go. One of the interesting things, you've got a waveform monitor button here. You've got a whole raft of buttons, does all kinds of things. Slot select, display, headphone volume up or down. You've got white balance, gain, shutter, full auto, on or off, peaking, zebra, iris manual control or auto, focus manual control or auto. You've got push autofocus if you're on manual for focus and you decide you just need to focus quickly, push that, it will autofocus for you. As I say, the infrared control is there. It records to, let's turn this off again. Oh yeah, the waveform monitor. That appears on this screen. It doesn't appear in the viewfinder, which is really bizarre. I don't know why Canon have done that. It's really annoying. And also, if you plug in an external screen, 5 inch, 7 inch, 10 inch, whatever it is, none of that information pops up on that screen. All you get is the image. Nice clear image, but that's all you get. You don't get any extra information, which is really annoying. You've got power save button, which basically powers the camera down as a soft power down, just so you can press it again, save on battery life. Battery life on this is pretty good, a couple of hours of recording. Your two-way switch thing, or three-way, goes to media, so you can review your footage. It records to twin compact flash cards. It does mirror, so each card's identical, or relay, and the relay is seamless. So the minute one card's full up, you'll just go straight onto the other one. The advantage of mirror is if one card fails, you've still got your recording. The other plus with this camera, and that's one of the reasons I do like it, let's turn that screen around. On the back, SD card in MP4 format. 35 megabits per second. On the compact flash cards, it's 50 megabits per second, 25p or 50i, so it's progressive or interlaced. The reason I am happy with it not being a touchscreen is if it's switched on, I've got the screen this way round, say set up on a tripod. If I touch that, I'm not going to affect anything. It's not going to have any impact. 3 rings, zoom, focus, iris. So if you want to do in-camera fade in, fade out, you can do it with the iris control. What that does though is only the video, doesn't do the audio, so you will have to do the audio in post. Okay, so that's just something to bear in mind. Front of the camera has a 58mm thread. That's got a polarizing filter on there at the moment, which I prefer to use because I just like the extra saturation. Canon produced this very, very nice lens hood that goes on the front of this thing. Now with a thin filter like that one, that's going to fit. Just be aware, if you put anything thicker, you might have problems. What I like about this, it does away with the need for a lens cap, because you've just got this nice little flap, opens up, closes, job done. Very, very nice indeed. Happy with that. Let's put this down here. So, what else do you get? The ubiquitous remote control. very handy if you're doing selfies like this. Some people have complained that the screen doesn't show up too well in bright sunlight. You can alter the display brightness by keeping your finger on the display button. Alternatively, just go and buy yourself one of these little hoods. Slide it on, job done, easy. £6 or £7, it's not a lot of money. You also get this, which is your shotgun mic mount. I don't use it, simple reason, I don't really want to turn around with a really great mic sticking out the front of it and bash into something or bash into somebody from a crowded situation. So I tend to use the Rode Video Mic X, which pops in the top there. I've got a dead cat for it, does the job, does nicely. Twin XLR, mini XLR outputs, and the 3.5mm. Now we get to the one complaint I have with this thing. Not with the camera, but with the accessories. That's my bloody phone going off, can't believe that. You can ignore that. I'm not going to do this video again because it's the fourth attempt now. This has the 20x zoom. They do an additional telephoto lens for it, which you screw on the front. Why? I don't really understand, because quite frankly I can't see why you'd need it. What they also do, now the price of that's quite expensive, I think it's about £400 to £500. They also do the Canon WA-H58 wide-angle lens. Now I bought this, thankfully I didn't pay full price, because the full price of this is another, again, about £500. It's a glorified bloody door viewer, if you think about it. You can't put a filter behind it because it will now stand off from the lens and things will be out of focus, and you can't put a filter on the front because A, there's no thread, and B, it's too big, so you have to use something like a rig, matte box, square filters, whatever. They also, you can get a lens hood for it. These are quite hard to get hold of. That pops on there, screws on, it all looks very nice. But, and this is where I have the issue, apart from not being able to get this thing out of the bloody hood, the image quality off of this is pretty poor. I thought, having bought this, being Canon glass, it would be excellent quality. It's not. It's very soft around the edges, especially in what I would call lower light conditions. Now when I say lower light, I'm talking about an overcast day. It's not great. And if you go indoors, it gets even worse. There's also barrel distortion, top and bottom, on both sides of the image. What you gain in terms of your view is about 2.5 feet each side of your normal view. So yes, you get a slightly wider view, and your perspective lengthens, obviously being a wide angle lens. But for what they're asking for this, quite frankly, if I'd paid the full price, I'd be going back to Canon and saying, excuse me, I want my money back, because this is really not very good. You can get an aftermarket version of these things, pattern version, what they're going to be about 70 quid, £75, maybe 100 tops. It's going to do the same job and give the same performance. Not pleased about that at all, and I think quite frankly it's a bit of a rip-off for what they're charging for this. There's nothing special about this at all. Real shame. So there we go. The camera was designed principally as an electronic news gathering camera for documentaries, broadcasting. It's broadcast quality. The recordings on the flash cards are MXF, which is media exchange format. You can import that directly into Premiere Pro. You can put it into DaVinci Resolve, it will see it. The MP4 is web ready, straight out, straight on the web, no problem at all. Simultaneous recording, I say, which I do love. I think it's a brilliant concept, and quite frankly, I don't know why they haven't done it on the new 705. Is this for your average consumer? Probably not. Yes, it will do full auto, but is your average consumer going to take full advantage of everything that this does? Probably not. Second-hand price seems to have been about £1,200 to £1,500 for the past 18 months, so it hasn't shifted much. They're not that common, and you can buy them from Canon new, and they're still £3,000 each. So it's not a cheap option. I know that Sony and Panasonic do cameras that are every bit as good, maybe even better, at a cheaper price. I just happen to like that one. Very, very pleased with the end result. If there's one thing I'd change on it, and I don't know if a firmware upgrade could do it, it would be change that from 50i to 50p. And that's the only thing I would change on it. Well, having said that, I'd have the bloody waveform appear in here, and all the information from that appear on an external screen. Now that should be doable via a firmware upgrade. I can't see Canon doing it for a 5-year-old camera, sadly. So there we go. That's the brief overview of the Canon XF200. Hope it's been useful to you. If you've got any questions, please ask. I've had this thing for some while now, so I'm pretty well versed in using it. Yeah, feel free to ask. All right, and thanks for watching.